welcome to our Tech Talk. So Tilina, the week,
Yeah,
pretty bad for Wi-Fi.
yeah. So everyone was like forgetting about Wi-Fi security for a while, right?
Correct.
We were okay with
PA2,
PA2. So it has been few years that way, right?
10 plus years.
Yeah. So we had WEP
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
right?
So we
And
had WPA, then PA2.
yeah.
And
So so EP, I think it was pretty bad,
it was,
right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad.
So, finally someone has figured out there are some major flaws in the protocol itself,
Correct.
right?
So because it's anyway a fairly old protocol.
Mhm.
So the problem behind Wi-Fi is, you know, that Wi-Fi is not like a wired connection. Where if it's a wired connection, if someone need to tap into your home network or the corporate network, you need to tap into that wire and you need physical access to it.
Yeah.
But the problem with Wi-Fi is like a radio transmitter, right? Basically that's it.
Yeah.
So it transmits it all over the place. So
Yeah.
even if you're 100 meters away, if you have like sophisticated equipment, you can be even 500 meters away, right?
Yeah.
And snoop into those traffic, right?
Mhm.
Because we know what it is and we can see it.
Yeah.
And then they can see what traffic goes on it. So WPA2 actually helped a lot in terms of protecting the security key. The security key is basically the key that you use to log into the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one is encrypting that traffic. So because it goes on the free air,
Yeah.
if someone sniff that and take that traffic out,
Yeah.
you can see what it is, right?
But good thing about web is now almost all the sites are HTTPS, right?
Correct.
So
Provided that that site is not using SHA-1 and multiple
Yeah.
TLS protocols.
so I think those are kind of protected.
Correct. So basically, so what has happened was someone figured it out a flow in the Wi-Fi WPA2 protocol, both AES and the other one TPKI. So basically what can happen is someone outside of that network, without knowing your Wi-Fi security password,
Yeah.
they can actually snip your packets. So basically it means they can see what traffic goes around from a device to the access point.
Yeah.
So if that traffic goes as clear text, for example, let's say you do a Google search, that's not actually clear text because that website uses HTTPS.
Yeah.
So even if they hack into your Wi-Fi network, if they see your packets,
They can't read it, right?
still they can't do anything about
Yeah.
it. So if you are using banking, say you are using Facebook, your Gmail, your email,
Yeah.
most of it. But there are some email services like provide non-encrypted. So basically a lot of people don't really necessarily put encryption on emails. I've seen this, right? Especially when you're using Outlook,
Yeah.
you know, email clients like Thunderbird, these kind of things.
Office email addresses.
Office email, you don't set it up, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, they can see the password as well as the content of that email.
Right.
So then they can see what's going on. So similarly, this vulnerability go into so much length, you can even inject a website into it.
Right.
So let's say you request for a website that is not secure, you can even serve another web page.
So you can do a phishing attack. Of
Correct.
sorts, right?
So now almost all devices are vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's not actually your Wi-Fi access points that vulnerable, it's actually the clients. So in this case, what the client is your computer, your phone.
Yeah.
So sad news is major Android devices are vulnerable and Google yet to release a patch.
Okay.
Even if Google release a patch, again I think we spoke about this on our previous episodes,
Yeah.
where Google might release the patch, but it's up to the vendors who make the phone to release this patch back to the consumer.
So at most times,
This
only
won't
like
happen.
very few percentage update their phones, right?
Correct. So this is pretty bad. So if you're on an Android device, I mean again so we had to go into the realistic level as well. So for example, let's say you are at home, you're using Wi-Fi, you have a vulnerable Android device.
Yeah.
So one of your neighbors really need to get into your Wi-Fi and sniff your traffic, right?
So this hack is not very easy to like hack, right? You
Correct.
need to be there,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So it's also this is also hard to hack and also hard to patch.
Correct.
So this
So-
vulnerability will be there for some time, I
Correct.
guess.
So if you're on a Windows computer, you're already patched, provided you're using Windows Update,
Yeah.
excluding Windows XP.
Okay.
So that's your fine. So Windows is covered because they released a patch. It's software update. It's fine.
And
Linux,
also, how many people update their routers, Kalinga?
correct, no one does.
No, that is
And router manufacturers don't even release updates, right?
Yeah.
The router I have been updated in 2016,
right.
and that's it,
Okay.
nothing yet.
Mhm.
So Linux yet to provide patches for this.
Yeah.
Then again, Mac OS is on a beta test of the patch.
Right.
So hopefully, maybe it's within the month they should be able to release it. iOS again, they are really about to release a patch. But with iOS, the problem is you need to get iOS version to get the patch.
Yeah.
So they had to actually release a version of iOS, and most probably it will be 11, right? 11 point something.
Yeah.
So-
It's now it's 11.0.3, I think.
Yeah, correct. So the problem is if you're on iOS 10, you won't get it.
Yeah.
That's Apple don't release patches for low-end versions, right?
So you have to get the latest
Greatest.
OS.
So if you have a phone that doesn't support iOS 11, basically mean you don't get the patch.
Yeah.
That's the sad story behind it. And again, it's bad for malware again. So ransomware. There's a new ransomware out there. So it's called the Bad Rabbit. Again, it will come into your computer, it will encrypt your data and then say, hey, I want money too. So this has been spreading around Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
There has been few cases reported in the US as well. So if you search for Bad Rabbit patches, there is a patch where you can actually create 2 files
Yeah.
and actually protect yourself. We stress this out all the time, update Windows. If you have a Windows computer, update it.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way out, and that's how it is to protect yourself. And make sure you don't use an administrative account.
Yeah.
And most importantly, back up your data. So if you back up, it doesn't matter really whether ransomware come in or not, because you can always recover. So that's why backups are more important.
Wow.
Again, when you say a backup, it's not you moving your file into USB drive.
Wow.
Backup is where you have 3 copies of your data, right? So I think we spoke about backing up so many times. I mean, coming to a point
Sure.
where it's boring. So we had to take a small break right now. See you after this one. Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about backing up. So backup.
Yeah.
That's what I can say. So we went to the next one, the good news. Facebook has actually redone their newsfeed.
They are trying
No
out
more
something.
cat videos. So basically, they're trying it out.
Yeah. They're doing it in 6 countries,
Correct.
which includes Sri Lanka as well.
Correct. So I mean, I think I know why they included us. We have the worst timelines ever. So much false information, so much
Yeah.
irrelevant things. So, so what will happen is they will move all the pages who post stuff from your main feed.
So in your main feed, it will be posts from your friends and family, right?
And plus people who pay for that post.
Okay.
Let's say I run a page, I pay Facebook to promote that post, they will show it on my timeline. If I don't pay for it,
Right.
it will go into a separate one where you explicitly had to go and say, I want to see this.
Yeah.
So this is bad in a way as well, right?
Yeah.
There are certain pages and things where you are interested in, where you want to see the information, you will not.
Yeah.
But in terms of the quality of content, again, let's say I share a post from that one of the groups, Tilna will see it
Yeah.
because it's a post from mine.
Yeah.
But if that group posted, you won't see it. I like it because Twitter has come to a point where Tilna, it has come, well, it actually annoys me, right?
Yeah.
I follow Tilina to see Tilina's post, right?
Yeah.
Now Tilina goes and likes something that I don't like,
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of content marketing, that's fine, right? So they get the content across to people.
Yeah.
But in terms of the user experience, that's where I even given up on Facebook timeline because it's full of unnecessary things.
Yeah.
Even with me unfollowing, blocking all those unnecessary pages, right?
And also on Twitter, the timeline is a bit confusing where they have the sorting little bit differently. So
Correct.
all the tweets might come to the top.
Correct.
So it's also kind of messy.
Yeah. But I think Facebook, so to me it's really difficult to say whether it made an improvement because I already kind of unfollowed and blocked almost all the unnecessary pages that I don't like,
Yeah.
right?
But Kalinga, a lot of people are like criticizing this idea in the world, right? I mean, not in Sri Lanka, but in US, I've seen a lot of posts saying it's kind of bad for business, obviously, right? So let's see if they like move into putting it everywhere. I
Correct.
mean, they're still on a test phase.
So this is a test basically. It's
Yeah.
not like it's going to happen.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes.
It's bad for businesses.
Yeah.
But again, if you are a business, so I mean, in terms of Facebook, it's good for them. Now businesses tend to pay for that post,
Yeah.
then share it. But I think it's bad for the so-called what do you call this digital marketing people, where they think that digital marketing is pages sharing, cat videos, and unnecessary
Yeah,
things.
true,
So
true.
that's where the failure happened, right? So for example, there are a lot of even the major companies in Sri Lanka, if you see their Facebook page, it's full of unnecessary things not related to that
Yeah.
company itself, right?
Yeah.
So you see they're sharing cat videos, you know, like sharing about some cricket match,
Yeah.
some unnecessary, irrelevant to that. Because I follow that company, let's say I follow X company, right? I follow that X company to get information about that company, right?
Yeah.
So not to get any information related to some cat jumping hoop or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the reason I follow that. If I
Sure.
wanted that, I would follow some of a page that actually share that kind of things,
Yeah.
right? So that's where the failure happened. But in terms of internet marketing expert who does this, they call this getting engagement. So
Yeah.
engagement in the
Yeah.
sense like, you know, how Facebook algorithm works is they see based on people liking, sharing, they
Yeah.
promote that page out, right, based on that kind of algorithm. But
Eventually, Kalinga, with machine learning and everything, Facebook should be like able to filter out what's relevant and what's not for us, right?
correct. So I think now this will stop those people from doing it because it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Because people, unless they really want to, they won't go into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moving from that, there's fake ad blockers.
Yeah. So a lot of people are using that block plugin, right?
Correct.
And so sadly, there was a fake adblock plugin on Chrome store itself.
Correct.
So around like more than 30,000 people has already installed it. So this is pretty bad. I mean, Chrome store, they have a small like vetting process, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it works, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
They only check for the name. So so mostly they check for the name. Now what these guys have done is they have put some similar looking Unicode characters in the name. So it
Correct.
looks exactly as AdBlock Plus. So
Yeah.
this is done everywhere now, right? Even in domain names. So
Correct.
it's very hard to find out it's the right site for you.
I think this has been proven with, for example, Facebook and
Yeah.
other things as well.
Yeah. So websites looking, say if you take paypal.com, you can make that name with Unicode characters as well.
Correct.
So it's very hard to identify if it is the right paypal.com.
Correct.
So you have to be very careful in that manner when you try to
And
log
it will
in.
even have SSL certificate because
Yeah.
you can get it, right?
Yeah.
So now you can't even.
Especially on mobile, it's very hard to see the URL correct, right?
I mean, how many people go to a site and check the certificate, right?
Yeah.
Even if you check it, then how do you know actually?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
So that's one of the tough ones.
I mean, if you click on a link, it's a risk, right? If you type it on address bar directly, then
Yeah.
there's no.
Or else you use a bookmark.
Yeah.
So that's the easy way. So you can use bookmark or you can type it. That's the two easy way out. If you click on something, let's say you get an email, you click on that,
Yeah.
we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So we have to take a small break. See you after this. Welcome back. So we're talking about fake pages, fake apps. So basically now what the best advice we can give is not to install anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how else would you know, Tilil? I mean, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So a lot of sites you go, I mean in Chrome even, they tend to like change search engine
Correct.
and put some links in the bookmarks bar
Correct.
and show some random tabs opening. So for this Google has made something, right?
Yeah.
A thing called cleanup. So it's not 100% rolled out right now.
No, some people has it, some people don't.
Yeah. So I think it will be easier for, I mean, not very expert computer users to like get rid of everything and
So
get
I
back.
mean, where the most of these issues comes in, where browser hijacking.
Yeah.
So for example, they change your search engine,
And the home page.
it
Yeah.
goes to a random site. You
Yeah.
search on something, and it goes to a random search.
Yeah.
And you
And
do
they
get lot of-
inject some ads on the page.
Correct. So you get pop-ups. It's a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
And I mean I've seen even like this website you goes to. So where I mean let's get into this as well, right? So there are a lot of complaints on mobile phone users complaining, hey, I never subscribed to this service, I never got this, and now
Yeah.
this provider is charging me. So this is where the trickiest one comes in, right? There are a lot of these mobile providers allow web-based subscription even without consent, right?
Mhm.
So when I say consent, let's say for example a website will pop up and say, hey, would you like to have this game?
Yeah.
And your tendency to say yes in most of the time, right?
Mhm.
But what ultimately happen is that website put you on a subscription,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It can be done, right? So it can be done if you are using your phone to browse a website.
Yeah.
So because the providers allow the subscription service through the websites, right?
Okay.
But there's no second confirmation saying do you want to go into this because you will be charged this much of amount, right?
Yeah.
That's what you call opt-in, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is as soon as you click on one of these, you get charged for it, and that's about it.
Yeah. You don't even know.
And you're getting charges random or once a month or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So this is a trick I've seen a lot of times. So even local websites I've seen going into where they pop up something and then our tendency is clicking faster, right? When
Yeah.
you see something ta 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 ta,
Yeah.
and these people trick you to click onto that, right?
Mhm.
So this is where a lot of mobile providers fail, and then I think they need to remove this out.
Yeah.
And I think if regulatory bodies need to get into this and make sure that people don't get charged for things that they don't explicitly subscribe to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't even understand. It has come to a point till where it's pretty bad, where people are really scared about this subscription, right? Word registration
Yeah.
really put people off, right?
So people think you will get charged.
Correct. So I mean, like, let's say you go to a website and you have to register for it. Like,
Yeah.
example, create an account.
Yeah.
So people feel very scared to do that because they don't know whether they'll get charged for it,
Mhm.
whether they'll. I mean, it has come to that kind of point, right?
Yeah.
Where this subscription services where web-based spamming,
Yeah.
it's annoying, right?
Yeah. I mean the trust on your ISP or telecom provider, it's kind of broken right now. right?
Correct. I mean, I've seen this some ISPs, forward. I mean, let's say I type Facebook, I put my password in and hit enter, and I get forwarded into one of the advertising
Yeah.
asking me to pay and get extra GB, right?
Yeah.
So this is pretty bad because they can actually capture your password
Yeah.
because I'm submitting something,
Mhm.
and according to even the legal guidelines put in by Sri Lankan government in terms of you are not allowed to alter any internet communication, right?
Yeah.
It's not legal because if you are requesting site A and you are being redirected to site B
Yeah.
by a man in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So the ISP is the man in the middle, they are
Yeah.
redirecting it to something else.
Yeah.
So those kind of ethical things in Sri Lanka is right
Yeah.
non-existence.
Hmm.
People don't understand it, one thing,
Yeah.
and the governing bodies don't really care
Yeah.
because they, I mean, it's bad, right? So I mean, in Malaysia, this has happened, right? This providers has been doing this, sending SMSs, getting this subscription.
Okay.
Now each and every SMS starts saying you will be charged 0 ringgit, right?
Okay.
It has to clearly state that from the beginning of the SMS. And that's even the SMS messages are the same, right? Spam messages now. I mean, I get this doctor channeling service message, right? From 3-4 different message IDs, right? So I block one, I get it from another one.
Yeah.
So I block the second one, I get it from another one. So it's come to a point, it's really annoying, right? And I mean, there are like even within those SMSs, due to some guidelines, you even get a way to stop that message, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is they are using multiple IDs to send this.
It doesn't matter if you block one, but you get it from another one.
Correct. So SMS has come to, so these kind of things, I think everyone need to go into and lobby into getting it. I mean, it's tough, right? This the same thing happen on Facebook, right? So much false information, advertising happening,
Yeah.
putting people, you know, like tricking people into get into all this, you know, like getting some like as seen on TV, right? That's one of the biggest scams out there, right?
Yeah.
So you, I mean, it's not a scam, right? Again, it's not a in a way of a scam, right? But lot of, I mean, it doesn't happen in Sri Lanka as much, but in other countries, people show things and they scam people to give you money, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where we are heading, because now in Sri Lanka, it's not happening as much, but that's a sad story behind information. I think that's one of the reason why Facebook even trying to, you know, like it's difficult for technologies to detect these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So, unless AI comes into play and it, I mean, Tilna was saying at a point Facebook will understand what these guys are sharing and what it is, right?
Yeah.
But until those things come into that level, it's really difficult, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons, right? Even this ad block, you're putting it in place so you would be safer from these things, but it's not. So that's why even Google was trying to block advertisement that doesn't adhere to standards on Chrome, right? I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I think they are pretty strict on advertisements, right?
So, I mean, if it's a Google advert, I actually don't mind blocking. I don't want to block that, right? I know it'll adhere to somewhat of a standard and what it shows is actually validated, right?
Yeah.
But Facebook, it's not the same. Facebook validates posts based on its content, how you write it, how many amount of wording you have on an image, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really validate the product or the entity or who advertise it, right?
Sure.
As long as they get money, they're fine. So that's, I think, why I think Facebook in a lot of heat these days due to this US election, the Trump election, right?
Yeah.
Where people say other parties actually helped running these campaigns to elect Trump. So that's bad, right? So again, that's good and a bad in everything, right? So with that, we had to take the week off and see you next week. So thank you for joining us. If you have any question, comments, do drop us an email, arttechtalk@thakaselk.com, or just visit the Art TV Facebook page or the YouTube channel. See you next week.